So this is something that God just gave me today. Um, I would say probably over the last few weeks, I've been seeing the number 135 repeatedly over and over again. And this may not be for everybody. This is something that God spoke to me personally about my situation, but He also told me to release it with minimal details because it's still a work in progress. So, um, the 135 in the Strong's Concordance means riddle or enigma or puzzle, something along those lines. So we've got uh, riddle, enigma, puzzle of some sort, and I believe this is due to me personally, because God's given me several things that He plans to do in my life, and I'm believing Him for the first of these three things, or what I believe is going to be first. He hasn't told me which one's going to be first. He told me that they were all three were something that He was blessing me with, but I don't, as to when or how is, I don't have any idea. But I know it's close. I can feel it in the spirit. So the reason that God has been showing me this 135, I believe, over and over again, is because no matter how I try to figure out or what I try to do to determine which one of these three things He's going to give me first, which I believe I know which one it is because logically it makes the most sense to me, but His ways are not my ways. So I really honestly don't know. I know what would be the most logical to me, and that's the thing that I would think that He would do first. But again, uh, he does not share His thoughts with me in that manner. So your guess is as good as mine. But the reason I think He's lightly jesting at me because no matter what I do, I'm never going to figure out what He's going to do or when He's going to do it. I mean, He may give me a pretty broad timeline sometimes. Sometimes He says a day, sometimes He says a week, and it doesn't seem like to me like it plays out in the physical. Like, so that could be a spiritual timeline, like when He seals it in the spirit or whatever the case may be. But that's kind of where we're at. But I know that breakthrough is right around the corner. So He also brought me to John 135 from the NIV. It says the next day John was there again with his two disciples. When he saw Jesus passing by, he said, "Look, the Lamb of God." And this kind of goes along this, He's been telling me over and over again that the lives are about to change overnight. We're going to go to bed one way, we're going to wake up the next way. Whatever. And our lives are going to be completely different the next day or the next week or whatever His timeline is. But this just kind of further solidifies, like, when he saw Jesus passing by, he said, "Look, the Lamb of God." One day, soon, we are going to see the manifestation of what God has promised us. Very, very, very soon. I believe for some people it will be before the end of the summer. That your life will be completely different. And that's a personal word. I was kind of hoping for by the end of June. Um, and so far that looks promising. But as we approach these timelines that we feel like God has given us, um, the devil kind of plays with our faith a little bit. Um, so that's something that God has stressed to me that is very, very important, is that we need to keep our faith in God no matter what it looks like. So, and that's pretty much the end of the word. I'll lead this out. Father, I thank you for your grace for the listener, and please minister. Please use this word to minister to the listener in the way that you know that the listener needs to hear it. Tug on their heartstrings, and whenever possible, and when the time is right, lead them into the direction of your will and your revelation, so that they may get what is for them from this word. In Jesus'